What's up, Indiana? Welcome to Indy Sports Nation right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Pacers are on a 5-game winning streak. The Colts are hanging on to their playoff lives. And we're going to get into the IU Notre Dame college football playoff game, talk a little hoops, so much more. Thanks for joining, everybody. Saddle up. Indy Sports Nation, let's go. Good evening and welcome in, everybody, to another primetime edition of Indy Sports Nation. Big Mike here, coming to you live as I do each and every week from the great city of Indianapolis. I hope you've had an amazing week. Whichever holidays that you are celebrating, I hope they have been the best to date. Man, we got a lot to discuss. As I mentioned, the Pacers on a 5-game winning streak, and they are about to tip off right now if they haven't already. So we're going to talk a little Pacers. We'll talk some college hoops. Obviously talk Colts. And we'll get into the game that was the IU and Notre Dame in the college football playoff. And there was a lot of fallout from that. A lot of people not happy for various reasons. So we'll get into all of that. But before we do all of that, we will give some love to our amazing sponsors. And I'm happy to announce we've got a new sponsor, Vital Apparel. So we'll be dropping the video on them and check them out. Proceeds go to mental health research, and that is something that is very, very near and dear to yours truly. So as well as obviously Planet Jerky, Seal the Deal Wax Seals, give them all some love every where you can. So let's get the bills paid. Again, give the love to the sponsors, and we'll get to the Pacers on the other side. So thank you so much for joining on another primetime edition of Indy Sports Nation. Big Mike here, right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. We'll be right back.
IE Sports Radio fans, this show is brought to you by Planet Jerky Premium Brisket Beef Jerky. Planet Jerky is the official jerky of the 2022 California League champion Lake Elsinore Storm, Single A affiliate of the San Diego Padres. This all brisket jerky has gluten-free options, contains no MSG, no sodium nitrate, is low in sugar, and high in protein. Go to their website at planetjerky.net and follow them on Instagram at Planet Jerky. Planet Jerky, the jerky that's on a whole other planet.
Rise and shine. It's 4 a.m. The stars are still out. The sun is beneath the horizon, but it's time to punch in and go to work. The comfort of your warm-ups turns into the grinding out of your reps as the clinking and the clinking of the plates create a symphony of euphoria. There's no other feeling like it. Earn it, burn it, and take what's yours. IE Sports Radio has proudly partnered with Vital Apparel, a brand that not only fits great, but also promotes and donates to mental health research. Use our code IESR to get 15% off their comfortable and inspiring gym wear and help them on their amazing journey to support mental health. Go hard, take part in your iron therapy, and be strong. Because when your mental health is as strong as you are, there's no telling how far you'll go.
Hey there, IE Sports Radio fans. Be sure to check out our sponsor, Seal the Deal Wax Seals by Cecilia B. You just finished your very own wedding or baby shower invitations and you're looking for that extra special touch? Maybe you just wrote a letter to a relative or a friend and you want to add to their smile when they receive it. Then seal the deal with Cecilia's handmade sealing wax stamps for your invitations, letters, and gifts. You bring the deal, we'll bring the seal. You can find them on Instagram at sealthedeal_wax stamps and on Facebook, Seal the Deal Wax Seals.
All right, welcome back in, everybody. Thank you so much once again for joining. Whether you're watching live or you're watching on the replay, cannot thank you all enough. If you're watching, you know what? Just give me the follows. We'll pull that up right here. You can follow us. Follow me at Indy Sports _IESR. You can also follow the old personal account at the Chill Mike. That is on the X/Twitter platform, whatever you're calling it. Also, if you're watching live, feel free to hit me up in the comments. Always keep them, keep them sports related, keep them PG. Pretty simple stuff. So let's jump into it, man. Let's get into the Pacers here. They're about ready to tip. I just pulled up an update here, and it looks like they're to start maybe a few minutes delayed here for whatever reason. But the game is on NBA TV, which is a bummer because you've got the Pacers with a 5-game win streak right now going up against Oklahoma City Thunder with an 8-game winning streak. And some would say, depending on what part of the country you're from, I suppose, that Oklahoma City may be the best team in the league right now. So regardless, somebody's winning streak's coming to an end tonight, and I'm really hoping that the Pacers can pull off this upset because, for obvious reasons, but it feels as though maybe they have kind of turned a corner here and maybe kind of figured this out. And here's where I'm going. Here's where I'm going with this. I want to go back here, several weeks, right? It was on this show. I'd mentioned it. You heard it everywhere probably. And it was, what is going on with this Pacers team? And there's a variety of things, right? You've got, it's injuries. Obviously losing, Wiseman and Jackson, and you got for the year, and you got Nebhard was out, Shepard's out, Neesmith's out. Miles was actually questionable for tonight, but or a game time decision rather, but it does appear he will be available. So that is good news. So, but back to the point of injuries, and a lot were saying, well, it's just injuries, and it's fair because that was what made them so good last year because they're deep bench, the rotations they could run, and their second unit was the best in the league, and they could just score pretty much at will. Now you take those injuries away, or you take those injuries into play, and now Coach Rick Carlisle's got to do different formations, different lineups, different rotations, what have you, and which, obviously did not bode so well for the Pacers. So there was that. There was also the Halliburton piece. Is he healthy? He doesn't look like himself. You'll see him going to the bench. He's putting the ice on his back. What's happening? But I feel like we may have kind of figured this out by now because we would see during that tough stretch there, Halliburton would throw up he'd have some good games, and then he would have some not so good games. And I feel like, and I would love to hear y'all's comments on this. it feels to me that maybe at that point, again, hindsight's a little bit 2020, I understand. But maybe in that role, Halliburton trying to kind of do too much is a little bit of a detriment to his game, if that makes any sense. And I think we've kind of noticed it now with Nemby coming back in the rotation, him being healthy. And I think for those of us who follow the Pacers relatively closely know how vital he is. And I think he may be winning over some other fans now as well, saying, wow, man, he is key. And especially his mid-range game's been going very, very well as of late. But it seems that those two really work off each other fairly well. And obviously now you get Shepherd back, so you've got another, again, you're getting deeper, right? And that's huge. And it looks like Neesmith is close. We'll see. But I just kind of want to do a quick recap. I had mentioned last week that this is a tough stretch that the Pacers are going on right now. A tough 7-game stretch. And I mentioned last week that, man, if they got 4, I think I'd be pretty happy with it. And they've got 3 already. To go out and get wins at Phoenix, at Sacramento, where they brought the Boo Birds out in Sacramento, and then get a win against Golden State. They were the better team in all those 3 games. And another reason, too, I mentioned maybe on the mend and turning this thing around a little bit. And shame on me for this. I looked into this a little bit. This time last year, they were about the same spot record-wise. I think they might have been a game or 2 off there. But I know through 28 games last year, they were 500. And now they're back to 500 now. So have they, obviously time's going to tell. I mean, Oklahoma City tonight, not going to be an easy one, obviously. And then tomorrow they're in Boston, which that's just brutal. I don't know who they upset, but to have Oklahoma City tonight, then go on the road to Boston tomorrow, get Boston again Sunday before they come back home to Milwaukee. Look, I would, man. Now I'm going to be greedy because they've got the 3 already. I want to see them get 2 here. I don't think I want to see them split Boston for sure, and I think they got to beat Milwaukee at home. Love to see him get the upset tonight. We'll see if Alexander maybe misses some shots for Oklahoma City. But I did want to make a quick note just from the games before we move on. But man, that Phoenix game where Siakam just 25 and 18, and got a dominant third quarter. Kind of had to hold Phoenix off there a little bit at the end, make it a little interesting, but felt like the Pacers really kind of had that kind of under control. They went and kind of rolled the Kings, having a 70-point second half. And some of these numbers, too, I mean, you're getting Pacers and 6 or 7 guys in double figures, and that's the Pacers that we saw last year. So it's kind of why I asked the question is, have they maybe kind of got this thing, figured out? Had the Warriors on Monday, and each time the Warriors kind of got close, Pacers would feel like they'd get a couple baskets and was able to keep the distance enough to win the game. So 3 great wins. Have they figured this thing out? Who knows? By the way, they have tipped off. It is 4-0 Pacers. So, crucial early scorer NBA update there, right? So got a few comments coming in already of our buddy George. He was on our show a few weeks back, our Pacers guru, and noted that we are playing better as when he's racking up the assists, and you are 100% correct, because that's what he's doing when he's getting those assists. He is orchestrating the offense, and that's how this team wins. When he's not doing that, this team's not winning. So I'm like I said, I want to say they've kind of got this thing figured out, but we've seen this roller coaster of a season so far where just when you think things are kind of going all right, then they just lose a game they have no business losing, which makes that a little frustrating for us Pacers fans. But the good thing is this. I mean, they're 8th in the East right now, 30 games in, which is crazy. It's already 30. I mean, we're going to be at the halfway point before we know it. So right now, they're actually tied for the 8th seed. They would lose a tiebreaker right now to Atlanta based off conference record, but that's going to change, obviously. They're like a half game behind the 7. They're 2 games behind the 5. So Milwaukee holds a 5 right now, and Milwaukee comes in here next week. So a lot here. It just, again, reminder, we were a 6 last year and made the finals. So granted, that was early, but there's still, there's still some optimism here. I'm really interested to see how these next few games go. So, we'll keep as the show moves on. I'll keep you updated on the score on the game here. Like I said, obviously we're only not even 2 minutes into the start of the game. So, but while we're talking hoops, I wanted to move on. We'll do a little bit different order tonight, but I was able to go to the Butler UConn game this past weekend. And I always tell people that even, especially here, obviously locally, if you're not a fan of Butler, go to Hinkle. It's just a great place to catch a basketball game. If you're any kind of a hoops fan or have any kind of like respect for the tradition, the history, you got to go. And of course, I rarely will ever turn down a ticket to go to Hinkle. Obviously, got the opportunity to go to see him play 2-time defending national champs, right? And that's a hard one to pass up. So that was a tough one for Butler. It was a bummer because, again, it's another quality opponent that they had a shot. They had the Marquette loss earlier in the week, and then UConn this time. And yeah, are they better than either one of those teams? No, they're not. But those are the ones, again, that could have made up for that bad loss. And UConn came out just on fire. Big 14-2 start. They were shooting at one point in the first half 83% from 3-point range. I'd never seen anything like it. But you knew that wasn't going to hold. And to Butler's credit, they didn't fold, and they could have. And they end up coming back in that second half and getting it tied, but they could never take the lead, which was a little frustrating if you're a Butler fan, right? And anytime they had a chance, it was a turnover or they get a one possession, the ball rim out. They couldn't get the rebound. But I had to give them credit because screens really stepped up, and that's been Butler's problem this year between Telfort and Brooks. And defenses will go, especially like at UConn, they're going to shut those guys down. For them, I wouldn't say shut them down, but they're going to make them earn it, right? So it's always been something with Butler. You got to have somebody step up. What's McCaffrey, screens or whatnot, and both those guys made some plays. It just wasn't enough, unfortunately. But it was a good effort. Could have easily folded. Didn't. The problem now is when you keep racking up these losses, if you're Butler, you're going to have to start getting some wins. You're going to have to start pulling off some upsets if you want any chance of any kind of postseason play. And I know it's only December, but we're getting into it's going to be January next week, as we know, and you're going to start racking up some of these wins and getting some of these to again negate those terrible losses you had early in the season. Larry B in the boss chat, and the hat has returned. You know what? I'm still feeling festive, man. It is. Some people today I know are still celebrating Christmas, so I had to bring it back for one more. Quick note on the Butler women too. That was a bad loss to DePaul. Man, they lost 66-43. They could not hit water from a boat. That was just one of those nights, man. Like, you have nightmares about. I might as well share this stat with you. They shot 15% from three and 30% from the field. I'm not sure you're going to beat anybody with those kind of numbers. The actual number from 3-point was like 3 for 19. I mean, I don't know what I don't even know what I got no words. I mean, you can't win games when you're shooting that poorly. Unfortunately, I'm gonna see if I can't pull up those numbers again real quick from the percentage standpoint. It was I believe 30%. Yeah, there was actually 16 of 49, so 32. Not gonna do a whole lot there, but anyway, we'll see how Butler, if they can, both the men and the women can rebound here, both literally and figuratively. Men play Villanova on New Year's Day, and then we got the women playing Seton Hall on Sunday. So we're in the heart of conference play. It's here just like that, man. So on that note, we're going to go ahead and get our first break in here, and on the other side, we're going to hit a little bit get some more hoops, talk a little little Purdue, little IU, get a little Notre Dame in as well, and then run into then get some Colts talk in here. So once again, appreciate you taking time out of your busy Thursday evening to join your boy here, Big Mike, and we'll get some more on the other side. We'll be right back.
For the last 10 years, IE Sports Radio has been bringing you amazing content ranging from interviewing legendary athletes, coaches, and other authorized media personnel to building tailor-made shows dedicated to all major sports cities around the country. Make sure to follow us at IE Sports Radio on X, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube to keep up with the latest in sports and with all of our shows. Also, make sure to check out our daily updated website at iesportsradio.com. At iesportsradio.com, you can see our daily show schedule and check out all of our show pages with personal bios to learn a little bit more about each of our awesome hosts. In addition to our show pages, you can catch the iSports Radio blog, Hall of Fame, Fans of the Month page, and our merchandise shop including t-shirts, tank tops, caps, long sleeves, hoodies, and more. For now over a decade here at IE Sports Radio, we've continued to be by the fans, for the fans, and we thank you all for your support and for making IE Sports Radio your direct feed for all that is sports.
Hello, sports fans. It's me, your boy Larry B, and I want to walk you through the world of sports. No, not just the mainstream major TV deal type sports, although those are important too. But let me be your guide through your journey of all sports, from college to the pros, the minors, and everything in between. Each week, we are talking sports galore with true diehards just like you from a hardcore fan's perspective that's sure to quench your thirst around leagues you may know all too well and some you may even discover here. That's right, sports fans. If you love sports of all kinds, enjoy hearing amazing sports stories, and respect all sports because you know how difficult any of them can be to play or compete in, then this is your show. Join me, your boy Larry B, on the defining moment each week here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports, and let the sports come to you.
All right, welcome back. Thank you again for all the comments and what have you. Let me kind of jump into the UNLV Boilermakers or the Purdue Boilermakers. It's a quick note here. I won't get into a whole lot of detail, but Barry Odom does seem to be bringing about a third of his UNLV team over to West Lafayette. In fact, some of you may have seen it. There was the little meme on X that basically said, took the Las Vegas, welcome to fabulous Las Vegas, Nevada sign, and, changed it up to welcome to fabulous West Lafayette to make him feel more at home, right? Anyway, so look, and I'm not mad about it. If I'm a Purdue fan, I'm not mad about it because, again, you're at the bottom you've hit pretty much rock bottom. So you can take a team that was in the top 25 and get some guys to come over. And a few guys from Arkansas have committed to come over too. So, look, I'm not expecting a Signetti turnaround here right away, but hey, you got to start somewhere. And again, you were you were pretty much at the bottom, so nowhere to go but up. But want to hit the hoops real quick, especially the men. That was we were talking about it last week. Playing Auburn, number 2 Auburn, and look, I mean, that was gonna be a tough matchup. Kind of knew that going in. I did not expect them to win this game. I was just kind of hoping they would keep this a little closer than they did. Unfortunately, not. We had an 87 to 69 loss, I believe it was. And get the old ticker going here. But yeah, I mean, just 8 points from Braden Smith's not going to cut it. Yeah, I'm sorry, it's just not. I mean, Kaufman still trying to do his thing, but he's kind of by himself, if you will. So basically, with the Purdue backcourt, you're getting CJ Cox came in off the bench and it was all right. He contributed 16, actually being the leading scorer of the game, for Purdue, which is nuts. But they got Fletcher and Braden getting 19 and combining for 7 assists. I mean, that's your starting backcourt. That's not going to cut it. I mean, no hate to Auburn. That's a good defensive team in Auburn. And obviously, Broome is a player of the year candidate. I mean, he went for 23 and 11. So they didn't really have an answer for him at all. And that's going to be the problem for Purdue this year. I've mentioned this before. This is going to be a little bit of a dip. They're playing small ball now. They've had to adjust with losing Jacobson for the season. Again, not that he would have been a huge offensive producer, but I think defensively he could have done a little bit more, and on the glass it would have helped out. But hey, I mean, that's just how it works. Injuries are part of it. But we'll see. Again, this is early, and Purdue's non-conference schedule has been brutal. I mean, they've been playing a ton of ranked teams. So we'll see if this actually helps them come conference play, or if they just get too beat up and they, who knows? I don't think so. I think this could actually help them because, again, we mentioned this last week when my Hoosiers guru Craig was on here. There's nobody right now in the Big Ten that's blowing me away. So to me, it can be kind of up for grabs. So I did want to give a quick shout out to the women. It's a rebuild year for them. I've not mentioned them a ton lately, but a couple of nice wins against Miami of Ohio and Indiana State. Again, teams that they should beat, even though they're in a rebuild. Unfortunately, the schedule people didn't give them any love because they're about ready to go into Iowa, and Iowa has found their way back into the top 25. So, we'll keep an eye on that, obviously. But wanted to give you a quick Purdue update here. We'll move on to the Hoosiers. Was if you saw us last week, we kind of called it. We thought they were going to have some issues there, and I don't want to say issues. That's probably not a fair way to put it, but I mean, these are games back in the day that IU wins, relatively handily. But Mbako, Renew had some pretty solid, solid performances, I suppose. I would have liked to see more from Ballo, to be honest. Rice didn't have his best shooting night. But 14 each from Renew and Mbako, and it's all right. Again, they're still struggling from outside. I mean, they only shot 25%. And I think that's going to be their Achilles heel yet again this year. To be able to go far, whether it's Big Ten or, we're talking NCAA tournament, you're going to have to hit from outside, and that's still their struggle. So they got Winthrop coming. Again, before they start getting into conference play, this non-conference schedule of IU's has not been necessarily anything to write home about. I was kind of joking with some friends the other day about that exact thing, and they're like, Mike, they're undefeated at home. They haven't really played anybody yet. So when they have, they struggled. So, we'll see. Good time to get that kind of things tightened up and turn around. They got one more game to do it. So we'll see what Coach Woodson does here. I want to give a quick shout out to the ladies as well. Good backcourt performance against Oakland the other night with a 90-55 win. Shea and Sydney pretty much kind of controlled the game. Is again solid backcourt performance. Pulled quick few numbers here. So Shea with 20, Sid with 11, and Stripling off the bench. Man, I'm telling you, when she comes off the bench and hits, the IU is they're a good team. They're going to be tough to beat. She comes in with 16 off the bench and 7 and 9 shooting. They keep that kind of production from her off the bench, and they've had some tough losses. I I expect this team to, rebound and maybe get back to the top 25 soon with their 9-3 record. So I wanted to give them a little bit of love. And I know I'm kind of blowing through this here because there's a lot to get into. Plus, I want to give you an update on the Pacers game here as well. But we'll get to some Notre Dame hoops here as well. We're going to get into Notre Dame on the back end here with obviously with football. We have a lot to talk about here on the back end, but the women keep doing what they do. As you can see, at 97-54 over Loyola. That was, I'd mentioned in the past few weeks, this was going to be for lack of a better term, an easy stretch for them until they get back into to conference play here. They got Virginia coming up on Sunday, but another, Hidalgo is just she's just her. She is balling. Another 33-point performance. Miles and King both with 18, shooting over 50% from the field. They're on a roll. And after that, really, I mentioned it before. They lost to TCU in a preseason tournament, who's ranked. That to me wasn't a bad loss. The Utah one was a bad loss, but that's been it. I've beaten 3 top 5 opponents already this year. So Layers will keep rolling. Men still dealing with some injuries, but beat Le Moyne, who I didn't even know that was even a college until I looked this up the other day. But solid performances from Tay Davis and Shrewsbury, giving you 24 and 18. Led the way from Notre Dame, and they get into conference play here on Tuesday with Georgia Tech. So Georgia Tech's not off to a great start, so should I want to say should because it's Notre Dame and they're still battling some injuries and some they're still a little sloppy with the ball, but we'll keep an eye on that and see where that rolls. So with that, I want to go ahead and get the last round of breaks in because we got a lot of content here I want to get into on the backside here with the Colts and the college football playoff. So once again, thanks for the comments, everybody. Much appreciate you taking the time to tune in, whether again it's live here or on the replay. So thank you again so much, and we'll finish this up on the other side. So thanks for joining your boy Big Mike here, Indy Sports Nation, right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. We'll be right back.
Sports fans, do you like teams that are tough, cities that are tougher, and fan bases that are passionate about their teams? How about teams that are historic and stadiums that are iconic? Then you belong in Chicago, and you need to check out Chi-Town Weekly. Join me, Adam Kernan, every week as we keep up with all things Chicago sports. Bears, Bulls, Blackhawks, Cubs, White Sox. We'll cover them all, plus more. The Windy City is always buzzing, and we'll keep you up on all the big games and major stories. So tune in to Chi-Town Weekly every week right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
What's up, New York? This is Ricky K coming at you with the NY State of Sports, a new show here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Listen to me every Thursday afternoon as we bring you the latest takes on the Yankees, Mets, Jets, Giants, Knicks, Nets, Rangers, Devils, and Islanders, Plus, you get some college hoops and what's the local sports events going on in the area. It's a state that never sleeps, so why not get the opinions and sports takes that never sleep? Again, every Thursday, 2 p.m. to the NY State of Sports. We'll see you then.
All right, welcome back in, everybody. Once again, thank you so much for tuning in. Really appreciate it. Give you a quick update here. It's 27-19 Pacers. 42 seconds to go in the first, and it appears we've got an injury to Obi Toppin, which is not good because that's just another big. I mean, that just can't make this up. But so far, Siakam with 10, and that's leading the Pacers right now. So try to give you another update before we go off the air here. So let's get into the Colts. Again, by some ridiculous miracle, whatever, they still have a chance to be in the playoffs. A 38-30 win against Tennessee, which I gotta be honest with you. I was there, and that was one of the more frustrating wins I can remember. You have JT, who just solidified himself in the Colts Ring of Honor with his performance. We'll just go over some stats here real quick. If he was on your fantasy team, you already know it because he was just balling out. So 29 carries, 218 yards, 3 touchdowns. Not a bad day. Richardson ran for 70. So as a team, they ran for 335 yards. Only passed for 123, but doesn't matter. But this team was up 38-7. 38-7. End up, from a yard standpoint, it really wasn't that bad. From defensive, I'm looking at some stats right here now. It wasn't, the Colts defense has done worse, but you're up 38-7 at home, and they scored 23 unanswered. It actually had the ball with 3 seconds. It was deep in their own territory. It would have been a miracle. But here was the thing. Richardson had to complete a pass to Pittman to extend the drive. Otherwise, they're punting from deep. That first down ended up being huge to the point we're putting starters back in the game because we're pulling guys in the third quarter. We're like, where's JT? Oh, he's on the bench. And I understand, giving your guys a breather, keeping them healthy, blah, blah, blah. But sometimes you just got to step on your opponent's throat, And the Colts just didn't do that. They get a big lead and just, it's been, mid. We've been mid for so long here. I'm not trying to suggest run up the score. I'm not doing that. But, and this the way this league is set up, the way football's set up now, you see teams come back from these large deficits, 3+ scores, and they come back and they do it. And the Colts almost put themselves in that situation on Sunday, which is just embarrassing, honestly. I get it. It's the NFL. You take the win, all right? A win's a win. But at the same time, it's, again, I mentioned last week what Colts defense was going to show up, and it started crappy with that Mason Rudolph touchdown. He took him right down the field, and then they kind of tightened up, and then they got a lead and just kind of let it slip. And granted, held the lead. Awesome. But yeah, so now here the Colts are at 7-8 and have albeit a narrow one, the path to the playoffs. So scenario is basically that need the Chargers to lose out, playing 3-12 New England and 3-12 Vegas. Granted, they can't run the ball right now because they don't have any running backs, but don't know if that's going to happen. Broncos need to lose. Cincinnati might knock them off. Burrows probably will put up a lot of points, but we all know Cincinnati will give up a lot of points. But I think we all know as Colts fans what's going to happen here. Because this is going to be the most Colts thing possible, right? Colts will win. They'll beat the Giants. They'll get the help they need, and they'll have a shot in the final week of the season to get in the playoffs. I think I read the stat would be if everything lines up for them this week, they'd have like a 35% or so chance. So that would mean essentially Kansas City would need to beat Denver. Kansas City has clinched home field. They've got nothing to play for, so I can't imagine a scenario where we see Patrick Mahomes on the field for the Chiefs. But you know who we will see? We'll see our good old buddy Carson Wentz. Those of you who don't know, he is the backup for the Chiefs. That'll be the most Colts thing possible, right? Carson Wentz holds the Colts season in his hands yet again, and we all know what he did last time that happened. We all remember 2021, right? I'm telling you right now, we just, as Colts fans, we're going, oh, yeah, that's probably what's going to happen. So, comments coming in here. George again, he's like, yep, I saw a team come back 33 down after a half. True story. Yep. And for those of you who don't know, that was the Colts who blew a 33-0 lead to Minnesota during the old Jeff Saturday run. That Ryan, that was awesome. Zach's chiming in. It looks like some terrible weather for the Broncos-Bengals game. Okay, yeah. We'll see. That would favor Denver, obviously, with their defense. But no, just as a Colts fan, something just tells me that's going to be the case. I think I'd almost rather it not be. But here, they got to lose out. So basically what could happen here, Chargers win, Denver wins. Colts playoff chances are 0. They will be done. And so we may know come Sunday because obviously we got these games for San Diego, LA, LA Chargers, and Denver on Saturday. So it's very, very, very possible that come 1 o'clock Sunday when the Colts kick off against the Giants that their playoff hopes are done. Speaking of which, of the game on Sunday, Anthony Richardson was not practicing today, so Joe Flacco was taking reps with the first team. Reports here are suggesting that they think he's going to play. It feels more of a rest type of deal. He's got some back pain and some sore foot. I mean, as much as he's been running the ball, it doesn't surprise me. Plus, it's just the end of the season. You're kind of get those nagging soreness, light injuries, that kind of a thing. It does sound like he will play, but we'll keep an eye on it. We'll see what tomorrow's report's like. If he's not practicing tomorrow, or even if he's not like a light participant, then maybe. And I get the concern because, quite frankly, usually when he's not practicing on Thursday, he's usually not playing. That's kind of been the MO for him. But this being holiday week, and they had to put out a practice report yesterday, even though the Colts didn't practice because they gave them Christmas off, which was the right thing to do. We'll see. But I'm going to go with it. He plays. It looks like Alec Pierce will be back based off everything we're seeing here. It looks like he's practiced a couple straight days now. So another threat for, Anthony, assuming he is in. Still looking for, EJ Speed. I'm not too worried about that. This is a Giants team that is just in disarray. Colts are getting 7.5. There's no reason the Colts shouldn't win this game. But like I said, we'll know. I'm not going to get to a big preview of it because it's very well two non-playoff teams by the time we get to it. But I still expect the Colts to win. They'll have Jacksonville next week at home for the finale. Probably puts them in a 9-8 deal, and again gives them reason to run it back. That'll be the narrative. We're so close, blah blah blah. But I can't help but just go back into earlier in the season when they've should have beat Houston at home and had that inexcusable performance at Green Bay. And I'm sorry, the Denver game should have been theirs. The fumble at the goal line just set everything in motion. Can you just imagine now what the Colts, the narrative would be discussing right now if that happened, if those things happened? Because we've seen what Houston's doing. They're crumbling. I mean, Tank Dell, they've lost him for not the rest of this year, but it looks like all of next year, which is terrible. It's bad. I hate to hear that. I really, really do. But something's wrong there. And I'm sorry, but just those games that people say those games don't matter. Those games don't matter. Those games matter. Case in point, they matter. And now, again, you're going to be more than likely back home mid again, and they're going to run it back again. Now, we'll see. Could be wrong. Been wrong before. So, Zach chiming in here. 2 lost by 2 by 3 to Houston. Yeah, total of 5 points. And part of that's on Steichen for that horrible play call in the second game. All they had to do was win one of them, and they would be division champs more than likely. So, just one of those deals. So, we'll talk more about it. Next week for sure. We'll see where this shakes out. But I'm gonna go with them. Just because it would be the most Colts thing ever. Something tells me they're gonna be in the playoff hunt next week, even though they shouldn't be. But and then it'll be in the old hands of Carson Wentz. That's just Colts for you. That's being a Colts football fan. That's what it is. So, all right. So I want to get into the big story, if you will, from this past week. College football playoff. And sorry, guys, I'm going back green again because, got to give love to Notre Dame. First and foremost, congratulations to Indiana football. What a ride. I mean, what a ride. And fun to watch this year. Like Signetti, don't like Signetti, don't care. You may not like that swagger. That's fine. But he turned it has been a failing football program forever. They lead Division I in the most losses. I mean, sorry, look that up. They do. And to within 1 year turn this team around into a college football playoff team. That's why he's won every freaking Coach of the Year award, as he should. Like him or not. IU went to that game and Notre Dame smacked them around. They just did. And so real quick, because I'm going to get some IU stuff out of the way here real quick, because I want to give love to Notre Dame because Notre Dame deserved the love here. Love, and then of course I'll make I know Jeremiah Love, yeah, I get that. I'm not trying to drop puns here, don't get me wrong, but I'm gonna give IU their love here because again, they deserve to be there. I'm sorry, and I've been seeing all the crap that's been coming out from all the different outlets saying, "Oh, that was just awful, and they shouldn't have been there. That was just an embarrassing game," and blah blah. Okay, first and foremost, and I've heard it about all of them, right? So I'm gonna get this rant out of the way real quick. Oh, SMU, they shouldn't have been there. Oh, boy, no one's saying that about Tennessee, who was dog walked in 5 minutes at Ohio State. Tennessee could not find their bus fast enough. At least IU showed a little bit of heart. Notre Dame's a better team than Indiana. Yeah. You know what? That's how that happens. That's how these things happen. This is a college football playoff, right? You've got these lower seeded teams going on the road, hostile territory, and everybody's like, they're all mad because there wasn't close enough for them. They didn't like the result, and they didn't be there. Okay, you know what? No. I've heard so much of it already. Oh, Alabama should have been an Indiana spot. Really? Beat Oklahoma. Do something in the regular season that actually matters, and then we can have that conversation. But until then, the regular season still matters. IU had every business being there. I'm sorry. My prediction was a little bit wrong. My prediction was right that Notre Dame would win. I did think it'd be a little bit closer than it was because I really thought it had that rivalry feel to it, right? And even though they don't play really ever, but it's a pride of Indiana thing. You got two in-state teams battling out to advance in the playoffs. to me, it felt like one of those games you could throw the stats out the window. But look, I mean, IU did struggle against top tier defenses all season. When I say all season, it wasn't that much because they didn't come across very many. But we saw the Michigan game, a second half especially. Michigan made adjustments, and IU struggled. We saw what happened at Ohio State. Now, granted, part of that was special teams blunders, but after that first drive, I mean, Jim, Knowles at their Ohio State DC is like, okay, we're not doing that anymore, and then brought literally everybody brought the literal house and made Rourke's day really tough. And now you're going to another defense, which I said it last week. I think it's the best secondary that they've gone against, and Xavier Watts showed why. And Jeremiah Love with that crazy run, and oh, by the way, he had the flu. I don't know if anybody knew that. And they still couldn't catch him. I digress a little bit, though. That was a good Notre Dame defense. Love them or hate them, I don't care. And I know they are polarizing. I get it. But IU has nothing in my mind to be ashamed of at all. Oh boy, this one got the chat room going. I kind of knew it would. So, yep. Oh, our good friend Heather from Bougie Sports checking in. IU handled their business. They didn't have an ugly loss to an unranked team. SEC teams left out. Yep, that's exactly right. So defense played well. George comments played well. Offense not. I mean, that's just, I think the offense, it was just a testament to Notre Dame's defense. In this game particularly. I mean, you're asking these teams to go on the road in these hostile environments and play good teams. Penn State's a good team. Are they the best team? No. Am I saying Notre Dame's the best team? No, although I like their shot. I like their odds against Georgia. I really do. But again, the whole thing just blows my mind. It just kind of really got to me this week because I told you where I lie on this stuff. I mean, I'm an Indiana sports guy, right? I love my Indiana sports. From a rivalry perspective, I do lean Purdue over Indiana, but it's no hate to Indiana. I'm glad they had the season they had. I love it, and they're not going away. Just to make a few notes here, they've been back in the portal again. You got Fernando Mendoza, quarterback. He's going to have 2 years of eligibility. It looks like they found their quarterback for the next 2 years. Mekhi Jackson out of App State had over 2,000 yards receiving. He's coming to Indiana. Kamar and Fisher have said they're staying. They're not going anywhere. Roman Henby from Maryland's coming to IU. The team's not going to go away. Now, again, their schedule's tougher next year, and I know that's been the knock on them, but hey, it's not their fault. They beat everybody who they were supposed to beat, and when you're looking at stats, they beat these teams down more than Ohio State did. I mean, there wasn't that many common opponents. I get it. But they did everything they were supposed to do. Yep, and it's got another comment here. IU better get QB and some offensive playmakers, and I think they did. I think they did. So, but we'll see. I mean, stuff's on paper, right? We'll find out next year. And, and we'll get into that. I mean, probably later on in the spring, when spring practice start, we'll start talking about transfer portal and whatnot. So, but a lot of good things I think are ahead. Great things ahead for IU football. And they may be a football school now. I'm not going that far yet. I know the fans are. I'm not going that far yet. Just because right now I just don't have a whole lot of hope in their basketball program. Maybe Woodson can get it figured out. But anyway, so let's get off that. Notre Dame. It was a great win. Jeremiah Love, what a gutty performance. Playing with the flu, and I mean, that was like his Michael Jordan moment, if you will, if we all remember that back in the day. And now they're going to play Georgia in the Sugar Bowl. And last I saw, I'm going to pull this up one more time. I believe they're giving Georgia 2 points. Yep, 2 points. So that's Sugar Bowl. So I'm not, listen, here's the thing about Georgia that I've noticed with them this year. I don't know that they've played a complete 4 quarters of any game all season. I really don't. I don't know that. I mean, maybe I've missed one. I've seen them in a half. look like they could beat anybody. I've seen them in another half look like anybody in the world could beat them. Carson Beck, he's going to be out with that hand injury. So they'll be going with their second stringer. Look, Riley Leonard's going to have to make some throws, in my mind. He's just going to have to. Georgia's got athletes on both sides of the ball. They've got some studs on defense. But no one has stopped really contain this running game yet. And now, granted, I know this will be the best, especially from an athletic standpoint, that Notre Dame's seen all year. Give me Notre Dame. I just don't have faith that Georgia can put together full 4 quarters, and you're going to have to beat this Notre Dame team. This is not the Notre Dame of old, and that's what people are going on. Like, oh well, it's just the brand, blah 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 blah. This is a different program under Marcus Freeman, especially when they're playing ranked teams. This isn't the Brian Kelly years. I want to repeat that. This is not the Brian Kelly years of Notre Dame. Like it or not, this is a different Notre Dame team. Now, is this Notre Dame team beatable? Of course. I'm not trying to prop them up to be this invincible team, but Notre Dame typically plays some pretty good fundamental football. They will smack you in the mouth on defense. They've got guys that will just fly around the field. But Riley Leonard's going to have to make some plays because you got to keep that Georgia defense honest. They've got guys in that defensive front that can stop the run. So you're going to have to be able to keep them honest. You can keep them honest with a good defensive team like Notre Dame, going what's essentially on the road. But Notre Dame travels pretty well too. So I don't know. I'll be interested to see how that kind of shakes out that game. But we all know when it comes to travel, a good defense and a good run game travel very well. So Riley's got to take care of the ball. But I think Notre Dame's going to pull this thing out. I do. It's going to be a close one. Quick note on the Pacers game real quick. Looks like Obi is back. That is a relief because I think we were all, kind of we're getting a little bit worried there. It's like, we can't lose another big. We cannot lose another big. Not good, not good. Let's see if we can get you a quick update here. The chat room has been flying off with the rival banter with Purdue and IU, which is funny. All right, here we go. 46-42. Pacers still up. We got about just over 3 minutes, about 3:22 looks like, and left in the half. So it's been a battle at this point. Let's see if we can get a little quick statistical update for you here. Now I like this chat right now. Now we're going back to bashing the SEC. That's what I like. That's what I like to see. Matherin 12, Siakam 10. McConnell 7 off the bench. So we'll see how the second half plays out. It's who makes the adjustments and whatnot. But all right, y'all. Well, that is just about going to do it for us. We're going to wrap this thing up technically here about a minute or so early, but we're going to do this primetime slot one more week. So we'll be back here January 2nd. So for the new year, so at the same time slot, 7 p.m. We will probably go back to the 5 o'clock slot after that once we all get back to real world and get back to full-time jobs and all that stuff that we just love, right? So big shout out to all of you, to all the folks at IU Sports Radio. Hope everybody had great holidays. And since I won't see you all again until the new year, you all have a safe and happy rest of the year. Happy New Year to you. We'll do maybe some sports resolutions on next week's show. So whether you're checking me out live here on the replay, get those in hand. Get those thoughts going on some New Year sports resolutions. We can have some nice fun interaction next week on the show. So on that note, signing off here, Big Mike, Indy Sports Nation, right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Have a great night, everybody.